Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Mario with Beyond Fitness, and today I'm doing the follow-up video review on long-term bulking because yesterday I released a video on reverse dieting and the 3 possible outcomes in which we presented the moderate cut, the mini cut, and also the contest prep and how you would go about reversing properly of each situation, ensuring that you're back into a lean gaining phase, you're back to doing what you normally do, and that's being focused on your strength and just maintaining a lean body post-show, or post-diet, excuse me. So now I'm doing the follow-up, and that is the long-term bulk. And I guess you could call this, I'm going to start calling this now the coaching series, because I've gotten a lot of good questions, and I'm definitely more than happy to help them. I'm not going to pull that coaching bullshit on you where you got to pay me. So here we go. So this is the long-term bulk. And again, this is what I like to see as a coach. If someone came to me and said, hey man, I'm really looking to, go through a solid bulking phase. I'm not trying to get too fat during the process. I'm really trying to focus on my strength, ensure that I'm gaining properly, and I'm not getting too sloppy. So as a coach, I realized, okay, well, we got to really, we have a lot of variables to consider. However, let's just say this person, Dave, came to us, starting weight of 160 pounds, 5'10" male. So I'm sure a lot of you guys maybe know somebody like, it kind of sounds like that. And I've estimated his starting macros to be 165 to 175 grams of protein, 70 grams of fat, 350 grams of carbs. And let's just, assume these are his starting base macros. No cardio, none of that. Like I said, I don't like seeing my folks do cardio unless it's, maybe, GPP work, just general conditioning work, maybe if they're in some sort of like league outside of their active weightlifting training sessions, if they're like in a softball league or indoor, whatever league it may be, that's totally cool with me. However, this is going to be our starting intake, and if you want to quickly know how I just kind of generated these numbers, a good starting place to kind of estimate where you are bulking calorie wise is take your body weight and multiply it by 17. That is the most general guideline that I like to see, folks, because that's usually the lower end of bulking calories. For me to start properly gaining, it takes me roughly 20 to 21 calories times my body weight for me to start gradually gaining. So this is definitely on the lower end, but it gives you more wiggle room and where to start eventually adding calories and play it safe. And then you can really start to get a feel for someone's individual response to these macros. So I'm going to go ahead and fast forward 4 months into the future. 4 months, because let's assume that maybe every month I like to see my dudes gain 2 to 3 pounds, because while I know many people say, well, you should only be gaining 1.5 pounds, that's great, but I'm telling you, I take shits that fluctuate myself 1.5 pounds, right? So let's just assume 2 to 3 pounds, allow for maybe that extra night, cheat meal. Okay, I shouldn't have said cheat meal, but let's say that you go out with your friends and family. You're not going to sit there and say, whoa, I got only 10 grams of protein and 5 grams of fat. You're not going to pull that bullshit. You're just going to sit there and enjoy a good meal, because we've all done it, especially when you're gaining. So let's fast forward 4 to 5 months into the future and see where Dave ends up. And to give you guys a little bit of a teaser, he might need a mini cut. So we're going to throw that in there, because in a long-term gaining phase, there's going to be mini cuts thrown in there to clean, the fat gain, because some people start eventually saying, hey, I'm putting on a little bit too much fluff, time to diet. And I'm totally cool with it, but it must be done properly, because I don't want them only gaining 2 pounds and then saying to themselves, it's time to start cutting, bros. Don't fall into that mindset. So 5 months, yes, 5 months into the future. Let's do it. Alright guys, so here we're back with Dave 5 months later, and we check in with him, and we realize that his ending weight now 5 months later is 177 pounds. So he's put on 17 pounds. It's been 5 months. His lifts have been steadily increasing. Everything's been going great. But you know what? 177 pounds, 17 pounds in 5 months. Like I said, I typically like to see folks only go up about 2 pounds a month. 2 to 3 pounds. I don't really like playing too much with the 3, but I'll take it if need be. However, his ending macros for this bulk were 180 grams of protein, 180 to 190 grams of protein, 90 grams of fat, and 440 grams of carbs. But now he's definitely had too many of those nights where he's off. He's YOLOing it up with his bros from the frat house. He just came back from the summer. It's all about Arizona State University, bruh. Frat house, bruh. But you guys get the general idea. So he's definitely now saying, crap, I definitely got to do a quick mini cut, clean some of this bloat weight off, and get right back to bulking. So now the question to David is, what does he do now? He knows he's got to do a mini cut, so let's see what his calories... I'm going to show you guys his starting mini cut calories and his ending mini cut calories, and then we'll see how he kind of goes back into a gaining phase. And after that, you guys will definitely get a general idea of how you rinse and repeat, and as needed. And here we go. Alright guys, so here we are. David realized, shit, it's time to, like I said, to start a mini cut. And on the bottom, we have his mini cut starting weight, and that is 177 pounds. And David has estimated his calories and his starting macros to be 180 to 190 grams of protein. He's not fucking with that. That's a fine variable. I typically like to see my folks kind of on just the higher side of protein, just a wee bit, not much. I guarantee you, majority of you guys consume above the RDA allotted amount, so you guys are fine. And 55 grams of fat, 175 grams of carbs. We're not doing a refeed. You could do it in maybe, the second week. However, we just want to get in, get out. So he decided he's going to do two sessions of cardio on his off days. Make the most of it because he doesn't want to just be some lazy fuck not doing anything. And also, since I said he's in a basketball league, assume he is, he's going to play one basketball pickup game a week. So now we're going to see what Dave's ending mini cut weight is and where he picks up in relation to his previous ending bulk macros. Alright guys, so now here we have it, the transition from his mini cut over to his bulk. So like I said, this is assuming maybe 5 weeks later. He dieted down about 12 pounds. We got him down to 165 and he's great. He actually lost a lot of that fat bloat. He looks better and he's maintained his strength for the most part. So now, like I said, if you guys watched my video yesterday, I'd like to see my folks transition back to a bulk as aggressively as they transitioned into a cut, or into a mini cut, excuse me. So right there, it says starting weight of 160, or end weight of 165 pounds. That was his weight at the end of his mini cut, and now the starting weight of his transition over to a bulk. So like I said, the calories are going to be very close to what they were ending. Again, it's just experimentation. I don't have a formula, but I mean, if you guys want to see a general guideline, I like to see fats typically about 10 to 15 grams below what they were, because you're definitely going to be lighter afterwards. And carbs, I like to see about 50 grams beneath your starting or your ending. So it's definitely higher than what you were previously. So let's do a quick comparison. His starting bulk now is 175 pounds to 100. Oh wow, excuse me. Sorry, I'm like totally out of it. 175 to 185 grams of protein, 80 grams of fat, 400 grams of carbs. He has dropped the cardio entirely. So those 2 sessions of miss, he's dropped them and he's only doing one pickup game of basketball a week with his bros. So if you think of it, he is in a way better position now to look at a long-term gaining phase, because look at his intake now in relation to what it was when he was at 160 pounds. I mean, granted, you're probably thinking it's not much food, but it's definitely an improvement of where he previously was. So now let's actually fast forward again another 4 months into the future and realize, so now we're looking at 9-month span. Let's realize, 10 months, because we included that mini cut. So now let's look at where he is, assuming he's doing it right, didn't get too sloppy, and all of his little YOLO friends at Arizona State University are back in school. Okay guys, so here again we have David. This is him about 5 months, 4 months later. We assume everything's went great. He's actually realized, shit, I really got to stick to that 2 pounds per month and not get too sloppy. Try to minimize the amount of days where I'm out there YOLOing it up with my friends. And this is where we're at. Everything's been going great in the gym. He's been hitting PRs, making strength gains, and he's even got a few girls at the gym noticing he's been making some size gains. So, let's see, he ends at now 173, or that's his, I should have clarified, that's his end bulk weight. And now this is where we're at, so excuse the connotations on the left. It should be end bulk and end weight. But his ending macros, where we originally left off now, are now 175 to 185 grams of protein. We didn't touch that. His fat is at about 95 grams, so definitely an improvement from that 80. And his carbs are significantly increased to about 510 grams of carbs. And this is a proper example of how you long-term bulk. So right now, David could keep gaining up until he gets to about 180, see how he assesses himself, and if he realizes, shit, I'm looking too chubby, rinse and repeat that same cycle of a quick mini cut, get right back to your bulking. So he's only up about 13 pounds, but look how much, he's still looking to gain up to 190, so imagine how crazy this dude's food intake is going to look like when he has to get to 190. That's the benefit of these quick rinse and repeat cycles, as I like to call them. So again, this is just a general video, but hopefully you guys can find some relation to this and application into your lean gaining phase. Seriously, I'm going to put a 3DMJ symbol on this and just say, like, here you go, since this is like the way I like to approach it. However, again, enjoy the video, comment, like, subscribe, watch my other videos. I don't like releasing a lot of these like super informative, like super kind of like getting into the nitty gritty, because again, we're coaches. This is like technically how we, stay out of like a retail job. I'm being honest. I'm not trying to, con anybody. Share the video with your friends and family. Share it with your fitness enthusiast friends. I'm going to say it again. Like my shit. And if you don't, well, go ahead. Or you can just watch someone eating Chipotle all day. Be my guest. And here you go. Stay safe.